Assalamu alaikum, كيف الحال? I'll be speaking in Arabic first and then I will try to translate it in like short sentences in English so we're all on the same page, okay? Hope that's fine. انزين، أنا بتكلم عن مخاوف الناس من الشهرة وليش في وايد ناس ما تبغى تكون صانعة محتوى، بس بنهاية الحديث بتكتشفون ان هذه المخاوف يمكن تمنع الناس من انها تسوي اي شيء. Now, of course, I'm talking about content creation and why people are reluctant to create content, but maybe by the end of the speech you will realize these are the reasons why people are reluctant to create anything. Okay? So, who am I to talk about these fears? I am Maytha, Myth Journey, and I was able to convince 500,000 followers to follow me through a year and a half. منو أنا عشان أتكلم عن هذه المخاوف؟ لأني أنا مريت بهذه المخاوف، بس في خلال سنة ونص الحمد لله قدرت أجمع أكثر عن نص مليون متابع، وقدرت أقنع نص مليون شخص إنه يكون صديقي ورفيقي في الرحلة. طيب؟ في مرة انعزمت على منتدى الاتصال الحكومي. I was once invited to a governmental summit and they invited a lot of content creators. عزموا وايد صناع محتوى وخذنا سيلفي مع بعض. بس تلاحظون شيء غريب في الصورة؟ Noticing anything a bit weird in the picture?
You're the only girl, you're the shortest.
I'm the shortest, but this shouldn't come as a surprise يعني. Of course, someone said I'm the only girl. صح، في حد قال أنا البنت الوحيدة، وهالشي ما كان مخليني أنا بس مستغربة، خلى وايد ناس يستغربون. عشان شي عقب شاركت في الستوري مالي ليش البنات ما يبون يكونون صانعات محتوى؟ Why are girls reluctant to create content? I asked this question on my story, and then I received a lot of answers from girls and guys and people who are doesn't want even to create content, but they're reluctant to create anything. So I tried to collect all these fears, which I faced in my beginnings, but I forgot along the way. And I'll tell you now my perspectives on those fears. بقول لكم شو هي تجربتي مع هذه المخاوف وكيف قدرت اني اتخطاها. اوكي، اول خوف هو التعليقات السلبية. Maybe first thing will come to your mind is negative comments, and how can we deal with negative comments? Thing is, imagine that you got a negative comment from a random person on the internet. تخيلوا انكم انتم حصلتوا تعليق سلبي من شخص على النت. هالشيء بيأثر. ما أقول لا، ما أقول كونوا أقوياء وكونوا ما أدري شو. No, we're humans and we get affected by these things, right? بس بسألكم سؤال. Would you take an advice from this person? Would you take an advice from a random person on the internet who thought that you look ugly for some reason? Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. And this question had the effect of magic on me. Every time someone commented something irrelevant, maybe on my looks, maybe on the way I talk, I get affected, but then I ask myself, would I listen to an advice from this person? And suddenly, he becomes a nobody. Suddenly, this advice, I heard it from a content creator and it's like golden. So I repeat it to everyone asking me about the negative comments. Okay. And the other thing, الشيء الثاني, the other thing that shouldn't come as a surprise as well, هو الأشياء اللي أنت تخاف إنك تسمعها، أنت سمعتها بالفعل. Things you are too afraid to hear from people. You've heard it already. Where? In your head. In your head, exactly. Anxiety. What happens with creative people, we are so hard on ourselves. اللي يستوي مع الناس المبدعين ان نحن وايد ننتقد نفسنا. كل ما نحن نشوف اصغر الاخطاء اللي نسويها ونكبرها بعيوننا، فنخاف ان نحن نسمع نفس الكلام من الناس الثانيين. But the reality is different. We are harder on ourselves than anyone else can be hard on us. So whatever you've said to yourself is 100 times worse than what you will hear eventually. So I mean, like, the worst has already happened now. So maybe give it a try. Okay? يعني already سمعتوا الكلام اللي تخافون انكم تسمعونه من نفسكم. فما في شيء تخافون منه. أو يمكن هذه فلسفتي السوداء. زين؟ يلا، الشيء الثاني هو الخصوصية. Second thing people are really afraid to put themselves out on the internet for is privacy. See, as an Arab people, we are very protective on our privacy. We don't like, paparazzis or people like knowing us on the streets and stuff, and I get it. But thing about privacy is your audience is your mirror. How is that relevant? كيف شو خصة ان جمهوري مرآتي الخصوصية؟ إذا أنت تحط فضايح الناس ككونتنت، إذا أنت تستغل فضايح الناس كمحتوى، إذا أنت تستغل الأخبار السيئة كمحتوى، of course karma will hunt you. بس إذا تحطي مثلا أفكار للناس، إذا تحطي إبداعك للناس، إذا تشارك الناس بأسئلة، فالناس بيفاجئونك بأنهم بيبدعون معاك، بأنهم بيفكرون معاك، فعشان شي جمهورك مرآتك. إذا أنت المحتوى اللي تحطيه زين، ما في داعي إنك أنت تخاف من إن جمهورك بينقلب عليك. If you put scandals and you shame people for content, of course your audience will come back and hunt you. But if you put out your ideas, if you provoke your audience's creativity, they will be creative with you and they will share even more ideas with you. That's why your audience is your mirror. Thank you. And again, this thing about privacy, we all should be like cautious, right? But this is a saying that I always go by: if you are too cautious, don't walk, because there's always a possibility that you will fall, right? I mean, be cautious, but not too cautious. Okay. And then we have this thing, and I heard a lot of people saying it in the beginning: society. Why are you so afraid to put yourself out there? Society. But what do you mean by this word? What do you mean by المجتمع? ليش تخاف من انك انت تحطي نفسك وتتكلم عن نفسك؟ المجتمع، شو تقصد بالمجتمع؟ اولا نحن لما نتكلم عن المجتمع، نحن نتكلم عن خبرة هي غير خبرتنا. خلوني اقول مثلا ان في بنت الحين تبى تكون صانعة محتوى، او شخص يبى يكون صانع محتوى، فهو بشو ممكن يفكر اول شيء؟ ممكن يفكر بالناس اللي got cancelled. صح ولا لا؟ اول شيء عبالنا نحن we humans, we love drama. We always think about the worst case scenarios first. فعلى طول نفكر بالاشخاص اللي got cancelled. But thing is, their experience is not yours, and you are not them. Their content is different than yours. So ليش تقيسون نفسكم بنفس المقياس؟ صح؟ شكرا. Another like weird thing that always comes to me, like when people say society makes us and society, and I'm like, who is the society? If you think about it, you are a society. You're a big part of it, because in a way you choose your people. right? You choose your circles everywhere. In the schools, you choose your circles. Even in family gatherings, you choose who you sit with. You don't always say, okay, right. You say hi to everyone, but then you go مثلا with your cousins that you are feeling more comfortable with. So in the end, you are a society. If you are doing something that you are not convinced of course people will be mad. But you are doing something that you will cheer people for doing, people will cheer for you. نحن المجتمع. اوكي؟ إذا نحن سوينا شيء نحن مقتنعين فيه ونحن نحبه ونعرف انه ما يغضب حد وما يأذي حد، بنحصل ناس يشجعوننا عليه. بس إذا سوينا شيء من البداية نحن مو مقتنعين عليه وبس عشان الكلاود، بس عشان الشهرة، of course هذا الشيء بينقلب ضدنا بعدين. ففي النهاية لا تسوي شيء أنت مش مقتنع فيه 100%. Last thing is experience. I don't have experience, that's why I don't want to put myself out there. I don't have experience, that's why I don't want to start going on my path. I don't have experience, so I don't want to start on this skill. And my answer to this is, don't wait to start. Start so you get experienced. لا تنتظر أن تستعد لكي تبدأ، ابدأ لكي تكون مستعدا. شكرا.